Alrighty, this is my Arduino garden controller here. It is a Arduino Uno. She's let's get her to focus there. Yep, she's driving a LCD here. A couple of sensors off of that block and terminal right there. It is connected to a power supply, which is driving this four-way relay channel, which is connected to a little extension cord setup I'll show there in a second. But this is what I am using to drive and control my greater garden room right here. And long story short, this is essentially where I'm keeping everything during the winter. We've got our basil, which I'm trying to rescue. He's got some fresh buds coming right there. Bunch of succulents right there. Yucca cane, some ferns, a couple of spider plants. These were some flowers that have now died. There were some bulbs. Jade plant, snake plant, don't know what he is, but I accidentally sprayed him with neem oil. But long story short, it's controlling this environment. We've got the humidifier going right there, and that goes into the room through that. It's a port, I guess we'll call it for now, but that's where the wires go into the other room to connect to the board, which is approximately right here on the other wall. And then the heater is right there on the floor. That is the status light when he's running. It's just a little orange light on him. This is our sensor array, or our board that has our sensor array. A little misleading. Our DHT11 right here is actually not being used. We're only using the DSB1820 or DS18B20. I don't remember how it's what the spelling was, but great temperature sensor. So we're using that for the temperature. And then for the humidity, we are now using the purple guy, and that is a BME-280, and that is made by Bosch. Great board. It's much better than the DHT Series 11 or the DHT22. I would highly recommend that to anybody who's looking into doing a sort of garden room or anything where they need to measure the humidity. Much better for it. I've got it mounted on this little crow's nest of a PC board, where I can then tie into some thicker wires that are also made out of silicon that I can just snake up here through the wall and run over there. The other 4 wires were for my first attempt, and I'm not using them at the moment. So, back on the other side, we've got a real-time clock module right there where my pinky is, although that thing won't focus. There she is. So that's our real-time clock module. I do intend to use that eventually when we're logging the data. Maybe have that as like as part of the output that we put into a comma-separated file. But for right now, it's thrown into like the serial monitor on our laptop right here. This is how I've been programming it otherwise. So, not exactly getting used. We have got a couple wires that run over here to our LCD, and that's doing the basic outputs. This is just a breadboard I had laying around that I could do the basic wiring for it. I do have plans to just solder it onto a PCB and have the potentiometer along with it and just make it a little cleaner, but that works for now. Lastly, we use the 2 analog pins there as the SCL and the SDA, or SLA and SDL. I don't remember that, whichever one it is. We use those 2 for the I2 interface, and they are what powers the BME-280. And then we've got a digital pin right there, number 3. He goes to the DS18B20. So that's how this is how this is configured. Otherwise, the black and white are just the 5-volt and the ground. So that is what that side of the board is running. Right here we have then got the relay module, and that ties into a couple of the digital pins. Right now we're just using 2. I do have plans to use a 3rd one of these for controlling the fans. But you can see each has got 2 set of wires, and right here we are tying into the mainline voltage, the hot wire here for the 120 volt AC. So we tie in there, bring it up to the relay, and so this is number 4, number 3, number 2, number 1, and that kind of ties into this. I wrote it upside down for whatever reason, but that's ion 4. Ion 4 is on, and that's controlling the humidity, as well as number ion 3. So, ion 4 is the top guy. Humidity for the humidifier goes out. Got that for the heat. Ion 3, he goes out. And then we've got a digital readout of what the live environment there is. So we've currently got 78 degrees Fahrenheit and a humidity of around 26, and that is working towards a set point of 83 degrees Fahrenheit and 41% humidity. So this is my first iteration with the plant controller, or plant room controller. No, I'm not growing any funny plants in there. No plans to, frankly. This is just my hobby. I really, when I first actually went to college, I saw a, greenhouse laboratory, if you will, and I was kind of inspired for a long time to do something like that myself. I didn't study that, but this is a hobby. This is a whole host of plants we have in the house, and this has been a really fun way to take care of them in an otherwise quite cold winter where I live. So, it's been fun, folks. Let me know what you think. If you've got any questions about what I had to do here, the only one thing I'll comment that was really a standout feature I would have otherwise have not figured this out at all was the green wire here, which is the common ground. He ties into the negative of our power supply to the or the ground of the power supply to the ground of the Arduino, and that's important for when the sensing or when the signal is sent over the digital pin. Like follow this red and blue guy. They go to those digital pins over here. When that is sent, it needs to have a common ground for that signal to otherwise dissipate to. And if they are not connected, you will not be able to control your relays. I wish I knew more and could explain more. There are smarter people out there who can explain that and know why that is necessary, but I will recommend that as one of the nuances I learned in part of this project. Otherwise, like I said, love to know what you guys all think and how I can maybe even improve. I know I could definitely box this up and make it 10 times smaller, but as a first iteration, I'm really pleased with how it's working so far, and I really can't wait to log data with it either. Thanks for watching, y'all. Have a great night, or day, whatever it might be for you.